What's up, everybody? Welcome to Beef, Tips, and Topics. Now, we got a lot we're going to talk about today. We're going to show some things, and we're going to get down to the meat of matter of some stuff later on about toys and toy distribution. But first off, I want to start a little bit about wrestling. We have talked about this subject before. We've talked about flops from WCW and WWE. And basically, what I'm talking about is characters or wrestlers that didn't really make it or wasn't pushed right in one company and went to the other, and who did them the best, who didn't. Like Stone Cold, everybody knows WCW dropped the ball on Stone Cold Steve Austin. They fired him, sent him a letter, came out to be one of the biggest stars ever. Same way with kind of like Cactus Jack, Mankind, whatever you want to call him. They let him go, which that one's a kind of funny one because Vince didn't think he was going to be nothing either. Vince actually told JR, said, I'm going to hire your friend so you can watch him fail. But he didn't fail. He prevailed, had a great career, got to do a lot of things. Bret Hart. Bret Hart, WWE pushed him to the moon, did good with him. Could have done better if Michaels wouldn't have gotten away. But he went to WCW. They dropped the ball. I think they would have even dropped the ball if Goldberg did not hurt him. But this is what we're talking about, guys. People who got cut from the company or left the company and became either a bigger star or did better in that company. Everybody knows The Undertaker, how his career ended up. He was Mean Mark Callis. He was part of the Skyscrapers. Really wasn't doing too much. And then of course, we all know what happened. He got the Undertaker gimmick. And, he may not be wrestling, but he's iconic and everybody knows his name. And credit to the Undertaker, to Mean Mark, because I don't know how many people else could have took that character and made it last for as long as he did with the way he changed it up just enough to stay relevant and in the main event picture all the time. If you're in here live, you can drop in some names. You can either ask me or tell me whatever you think. Some other ones that happened like that was Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio was doing okay in WCW in the cruiserweight division, but they dropped the ball once they took the mask off of him. That was the wrong thing to do right there. But we see how he became once WWE got a hold of him. And that one really amazes me how well Rey Mysterio did. Not because I didn't think he had the talent. I just didn't think Vince would push somebody. But I always have to put the traction in there because I don't think if what happened to Eddie does not happen, I don't know that Ray ever gets elevated to the status that he actually had. That's just my belief. I could be wrong. I'm not always right, but I'm never wrong because it's my opinion. And since we brought up Eddie Guerrero, we'll talk about Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero was a great talent. WCW kind of dropped the ball with him. They'd push him a little bit, drop him back, push him. Well, then we all know what happened. The Radicals, they went to WWE, 4 of them. Now, 2 of them, WCW did them better. 2, WWE did them better, and we all know who those 2 are. One is Eddie Guerrero. One is the one nobody talks about because of what the band did, and that is Chris Benoit. But he was on a trajectory to go somewhere for a little bit in WCW, but we all know, and you can go, well, I don't know if you can go back and watch, but he did become very, very good at what he did over there. But the other 2 in that group, Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn. Now, WWE didn't handle them well. To me, they had a better career in WCW than they did over there. But to the credit of either company, I don't know if those guys actually, not that they didn't have the talent, I just don't know if they, either one of them really had the charisma, you know, to excel really any farther than what they did. I think Dean Malenko's still an agent for somebody at the moment right now. So another one some of y'all may not know that WCW did a real good job with was Johnny B. Bad. Of course, I think if he could have kept the character and the name, he could have done better in WWF or WWE, but he just couldn't make it under Mark Merrow. I don't know why they didn't lead into more of his boxing background. I think they could have done better with him. But he was one of the first ones to in the WWE to get a full contract and all that. So, but yeah, they dropped the ball with him. WCW had him on a good trajectory over there. Vader is another one. Big Van Vader did really good stuff in WCW, not so much in the WWF. Some people might not even remember that Vader was in the WWF, but I think a lot of that had to do with Shawn Michaels. We all know the story behind Shawn. You know, he didn't like a lot of people getting pushed, and he didn't want to work with Vader and stuff like that. Now, Raven, Raven, I think was really good, which his probably best place was ECW, but he was still well done in WCW. But I think they could have done better with the flock. I think they could have had a little more, but at that time, I think WCW was all about the NWO. They weren't really worried about too many other characters, which led to some of their downfall. Uh, Now they did Goldberg well. In my eyes, I think they messed him up because they didn't teach him enough. Goldberg and Ultimate Warrior will always get compared together because they had the same kind of run. They were on this trajectory just to be this great, but they never learned what it really took to be an actual wrestler. They were just a gimmick. They could do fast matches, but they couldn't go out and put a 20-minute match, 25-minute match together that could look good. You know what I'm saying? Now, when we get into some other ones, these are kind of, could go either way. And I'll go to the chats. If you're in the chats, please drop the comments. Ask me questions if you want. Give your opinion. Now, Booker T, I lean more to WCW. I think to me that's where I don't know if he was necessarily better, but I think he had a bigger push behind him. Everything he got in the WWE, I think he worked harder to get. Making the King Booker gimmick, I don't think they ever thought that the King Booker gimmick would get over like it did, and he just gave his all into it, all shucky ducky. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir, Adrian. 5-time, 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 5-time WCW champion. Sucker, can you dig it? But I think he did really well, and they were pushing him good. I don't think the WWE really meant to push him like that. I think he just organically got over. But this is what people don't realize in wrestling. That is what helps the most when it organically got over. Nobody had this whole Stone Cold thing planned out when it happened like it happened. It just caught on fire, and one thing led to another, and once the fire was lit, it was off to the races. The best things that happen in wrestling, I swear, 98% of them were not planned. You know? I mean, look at Austin. The ringmaster gimmick was going nowhere. And then one thing happens, Triple H gets in trouble. They elevate Stone Cold. He gets his lip busted. He gets told about, the promo that Jake cut. So he cuts the promo, plus also the stuff with Vince and Brett. And Vince thought he was going to be the babyface, but now he's the heel. And none of that stuff was planned. It just all generated and was one of the best times in wrestling history. I don't remember which one that is either, Adrian. Uh, and there's a lot of instances with that and other people. One with Sting, for instance. I think two, Daniel Bryan, which I wasn't behind that. I never got behind the whole Daniel Bryan thing. But there's a lot of places where people should have went over Triple H and they didn't. And that's a part where, I don't know if it was because he was family or if Vince thought that was what was better for business or what. I'm not saying, but yeah, Booker should have got a little more push from the company. I think everything he earned, that man earned it. And Booker's got all my respect. I've met him, shook his hand. He's an awesome dude, man. Especially what Booker came from, trouble with the law and this and that, and just really made a great life for himself. And that's what it's all about. We all make mistakes, but it's about what you do and what you do with it. You know, he could have sat there and been one of these people, oh, woe is me, and I don't get no breaks. No, you got to make your own breaks. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, I kind of got off on a little tangent with Booker, but really glad. Okay, WrestleMania 19. Thank you, Mario. I don't know if y'all follow me on TikTok, but I did put a video out there. It's WrestleMania season. I'd like you to go comment. You can comment in here. What was your favorite WrestleMania of all time? Mine was 17. Not just because I was there, but because to me it was the best overall card in a WrestleMania that I have seen. So, but we'll get to a few more. What I'm talking about, if you're late coming in here, is flops between WCW and WWE. Who handled the wrestlers better, this and that. Now, here's Iron Anderson was done really good. I don't think he really could have been pushed any farther. I think he was always meant to be either a tag team or Ric Flair's right-hand man. I think it was a perfect spot for him. One of the best technical wrestlers in the business and underrated promos. If you go back and watch some of the old WCW tapings and stuff back from like 88, stuff like that, really good stuff. He even had some later than that. I mean, the dude was really good on the mic, really underrated. Flair, I mean, I think they tried to ruin Flair in WCW, but Flair was just that good that he wasn't gonna let them take him down. If y'all remember, they tried to put an earring in his ear, cut his hair, wanted to call him Spartacus and all this stuff. But Flair was not going for that. You know what I'm saying? Lex Luger's another one, which is going into the Hall of Fame. Now, granted, not the best wrestler, but he's still, I don't think Luger really caught on to the business or wanted to be in the business until he was out of the business, And now he's just got so much love and respect for the business, and DDP's helping him and all that stuff, which is good. So, but they really pushed Luger. WWE, they dropped the ball with Luger. I don't know why. I don't know if they just thought he wasn't taking it serious enough. But when you have him come in on the USS Intrepid and slam Yokozuna, and then you don't put the title on him, and then in the Rumble you have him and Brett both win at the same it's just too much convoluted stuff in there. You should have just gave him a push, let him try to run with it. Then they try to give him the narcissist gimmick. That wasn't working. Luger was one that was pretty good at being a face or a heel. And we're going to get to another question about that in a minute. Oh, man, that is hard. Now, I like both of them, and I'm a big Dusty fan, but I'm also a big Austin 316 fan. I think for the people who never saw Hard Times, you're not going to relate to it. But if you grew up during that time, it was really something, because I think it meant more at the time than what Austin did. Because Dusty was telling the truth. I mean, he was basically saying, the Horsemen tried to take me out. They tried to take my job. the will to feed my family. And that's when he went on the whole spiel about, when the textile workers are out of work, that's hard times, Daddy. But Ric Flair, I said, Ric Flair, you want to put hard times on Dusty Rhodes. What is hard times is when you work 20 years for a place and then you retire and they give you a watch and say, thank you for your service. You know what I'm saying? But that meant a lot more to me because he laid in alleys and lived off pork and beans, Jack. But goddamn, on the other hand, kid, I came in there and I told this SOB what I was going to do. Because Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. What? 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 But I will have to say hard times. At that time, that was probably, besides some of Ric Flair's promos, that was probably one of the better promos. In that era, it was Flair, Dusty, and Iron. I mean, those cats were so good at what they did, and they did it on a daily basis, just come into the studio and just fired off shots. What in the blue hell? All right. Another one, before we get too off track, another one is Sting. WCW did great with Sting, whether it was Surfer Sting, the Crow Sting. They did him really well. I don't know that they ever let him drop off. They kept him on that upper tier level. Sting even did some good stuff in TNA. I mean, he was even good for AEW, even though at that time he really couldn't do nothing. WWE for sure dropped the ball on him, making him lose to Triple H and then making him lose to Seth Rollins with a buckle bomb. I mean, come on, what are we doing? You know what I mean? But, all right, here's a question I want to, before I get to that question. Here's a couple that I think are in between, and I want to see your thoughts on this. Now, who do you think did them better? WCW or WWE? And I'm talking about Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. And you're probably not going to like my answer, but I'm actually going to say WCW. Now, they were in WCW first. WWE basically made them a household name. But do you prefer Kevin Nash or the Diesel gimmick? You tell me. Do you prefer Scott Hall, WCW, or Razor Ramon? Now, I know a lot of people had Razor Ramon, but he had some good stuff. The stuff with Michaels, a little bit with like Jarrett or whatever, but he didn't want to do the stuff with Goldust and everything. So I think that okay, so I'm not the only one that feels that way. I'm talking to whoever's out there listening, man, but thank you for the comment on the collection. And actually, after another question, we're going to jump into a little bit of that. I'm going to show a few figures that I picked up, and we're going to take a look at some wrestling wristbands that the WWE came out with, like the old snap bands we used to have in the 80s. I did buy a few more today. We're going to bust those open, see who I got, and then we're going to get into talking more toys and stuff. But the question I got, and I want your answers, so please put them in the chats or in the comments. But I'm only looking for two names. And I don't mean there can't be anybody else, but I'm just saying I want the same answer that I think. And you can argue with me if there's somebody else. But here is the question. Who is the best two wrestlers ever that were a face and a heel? Meaning, when they were a heel, they were the best in the business doing it. When they were a face, they were really up there top doing it. So top tier, not just, yeah, they could do it, but so we know we're not talking about Roman Reigns. Because we all know he's better as a heel. Suffering succotash and all that stuff. But I want to see your answers, guys. So I'm only looking for 2. I want to see if you get it. But while you get it, while you think about that question, I give you a little time. I'm going to show you a few things we picked up over the last few days. And then we're going to get to the bands. But we picked up, Target had 20% off. So we jumped on the CM Punk. I'm not too big on the face sculpt though, really. But I picked up the main event, CM Punk. Okay, 812, that is one of them. I just need one more answer. 812 got the first one. Next up, we picked up Logan Paul, one of the best heels in the business right now. 20% off. Had to pick it up. I almost picked it up twice before, but you know me, the deal stealing, toy dealing, Hot Wheel riding, Dragonfly flying. And we picked up, my man Joe picked up Austin Theory for me with the U.S. title. We still waiting on one more answer. Who is the best 2 wrestlers to be a face and a heel all time? We got Hogan. Who's the other one? Want to see if y'all can get the same name as me. We got Bruno Sammartino. Man, Adrian, you're my man. I knew you knew me. You got it. But if y'all disagree, let me know who you think. But I think it's got to be Rock and Hogan. I mean, those guys could be heel, they could be face, and it worked. But there's Bruno. And last but not least, Rhea Bloody Ripley right there with the women's title. All right, now we're going to get in to these snap bands. And yes, I did take the box. only 4 in there, but I wanted one of these boxes. Now, I'm going to let you know before you do take the box, you can take the box. That's fine if it's only got a few left and you're buying it. But it looks like they have one right here, but they've got the ends cut off. So it's not really a full band. But I think we got 4 in here, and we've already opened up some of these. But we're going to bust them open, and we're going to see who we got. We're looking for the Undertaker Super Rare is what we're looking for. We could use another tag title. We already have the spinner belt. We have, what else do we have? I don't remember if I think we got the NXT belt. No, it's not yeet. It's 4 letters. 1 word. Woo-woo. Beef. Jey Uso. All right, what did we get? Okay, we don't have this one, I don't think. Or do we? That's the World Tag Team Champions. Why does this one look different than the other one? I don't know. I have to get the other ones and pull them out here in a minute. But that's what we got. Now, if you remember, if you're old enough, back in the 80s, they had these little bands. They had them with Ninja Turtles, Simpsons, all that kind of stuff, man. And you just pop them on your wrist right there, and boom, there you go. Jey Uso is now in your city. Okay, that's fine. Come on, Mr. Yeet Man. I've been yeeting all day. Almost got a yeet infection. All right, let's see what else we got, guys. We're going to get this thing popping. All right, now see, there are 2 different ones. Because now I have one of these. So now I have completed the tag belts. But this other one... Okay. All right. Let's see what else. 2 more. We've just been picking these up a little as we go. I bought one the first time just to see. But gonna try to get the whole collection. I think there's like 9 of them. All right. Well, now we completed the other tag belts. So we got that one to go with that. So now we can find somebody to slap them on. You know what I might use these for? And I think they might fit pretty well. I may bring one out toward the end of the show and see But what if we put these on the big rubber guys? I wonder how they would look on them. May still be too big, but I don't know. Worth a shot. All right, one more, guys. One more. Whoop-de-woo, whatever. But, guys, anybody who jumps in here and cannot finish the whole show, give it 12 hours. You can rewatch the show. We do this every Thursday. We have something. And I'm thinking about bringing, well, I got an extra tag team belt. God dang. Didn't do too good on this hit. But we did get the box. And we'll probably end up cutting this out and using it like for a display or something. You know, I don't know yet. But I've thought about moving the interviews to the YouTube on Tuesday nights as well. So we'll see what happens with that. But let me see if I can grab those other ones real fast. Well, maybe I can't because I don't remember where I put them. Imagine that. They're here somewhere. But anyway, let's get back to it, guys. Sean, someone. Oh, okay. Yeah, they probably. Well, I don't know how they would. Did they really fit well on the Ring Giants? I don't know how well they would fit on there. Hey, John Cena. You can't see me. I'm going to grab one of them big rubber guys and just see how it fits. We're going to see what it looks like. We just grabbed the Brooklyn Brawler because he's the closest one there. All right. Let's see. But if you're coming in here and you're not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button, guys. We're trying to get to that 1,000 mark. Make sure you let everybody know. And we'll put this all back together here in a minute. But if you haven't never seen the big rubber guys, this is the Brooklyn Brawler. You know, I was thinking today, if I was to only collect 2 lines in WWE or in wrestling in general, which hopefully that never happens because I like a lot of, but it would probably be these big rubber guys and the Coliseum collection. All right, let's see what it looks like. A little big, huh? Oh. Yeah, maybe a little too big. What do you think? Put a 1 if yes, 2 if no. Man, I don't know, man. I got a lot of favorite toys, but I really like that dragonfly that's right up there behind me. See that? The dragonfly flying. Okay, Broski says 1, 812 says too big, huh, 812? Yeah, a little too big. It was worth a shot. There we go. All right, guys. We can leave the Brawler right there. What I wanted to talk about real quick, something about the toys and stuff. Now, I'm having issues, which I know everybody else is too, and I'm probably speaking on deaf ears. Hopefully somebody could hear this. Hopefully we could get something done about it. But my question to everybody is, why do we have exclusives to certain stores when the whole thing behind an exclusive is they're trying to get that product, whether it's from Hasbro, Mattel, Jada Toys, whatever it is, they're trying to get that one line or one figure to bring in their store to bring more people, right? But Monday Night Wars and WWE superstars are Walmart exclusive lines, and you can't hardly even find them in there. Right now, they're pulling all the wrestling superstars off the shelves. I haven't seen no Monday Night Wars on the shelves in the last few weeks. Uh, Mattel Creations had talked about maybe starting to get some, but what little bit they did get on their site, they were gone within like a day or two. So I don't understand why these companies, and it goes both ways. I know I don't think, because I've talked to Mattel. Mattel doesn't really care, because once they get it, whatever amount they ordered, they've already paid for. So they don't really care. But if you are paying this money to try to get this line in your store, why are you even putting your hand out to get it if you're not going to promote it? If you're not putting out the flyers, you're not putting out the shippers, if you're not putting them on the shelves, then why even worry about getting an exclusive into your store? And if anybody hears this, you can record it, you can put it wherever. Walmart, I'm talking to you. This makes no sense. It doesn't make business sense. It's not just me talking as a collector because I want my figure. If this was my company, I would want to know why I am worried about getting this product if I'm not putting it on the shelf. How am I generating any business or getting anybody else into my store when they can't find that product? The other issue I have, and this is more with Target than Walmart, but Walmart's done it too. But why do you keep canceling our orders? Why? There should be no reason. You should know how much stock you have, unless a truck just got robbed, or, a boat didn't make it to the harbor. There's no reason you should be canceling our orders. You should not be having us ordering more than you have supposed to be in stock or coming in stock if it's a pre-order. Now, they're not the only ones to do this. I've had this happen from Big Bad Toy Store as well. They just sent me one. It's been, I don't know how long I've been waiting on this figure to complete a Build-A-Figure wave. And they just tell me, we had to cancel your order. So now I don't get to finish that Build-A-Figure. I don't have that figure, so now I still got to try to hunt for that figure. I just don't get this. I understand stuff happens, and there's things out there we can't control. But I don't know. I wish somebody could explain it better to me. But the whole thing, the canceling thing, I can understand somewhat. But it's still, I know they give you your money back. So it's not like they're holding your money. Okay? The other thing I want to talk about is pre-orders. Except for maybe the big rubber guys and a little bit of the zombie stuff, I don't think I'm going to be doing too much more pre-orders, because I ordered a wave from Hasbro Pulse, and I've seen people finding this stuff in stores and opening it before I even get mine. So why am I pre-ordering stuff and everybody else who ain't even pre-ordering it is getting it before me? I don't understand. I mean, so you may not charge me until it ships, and I get that. But why am I waiting so long and it's getting to the stores before it gets to me? I thought the whole idea of a pre-order was to make sure you get the order and you get it faster than most, right? So I thought. Apparently that is not the case. But there's a lot of issues, guys. And even speaking about the Walmart and stuff, it's just going to get worse, guys, because if you've seen these cases popping up everywhere, they're locking up Legos, they're locking up razor blades, they're locking up toothbrushes. I guess they don't want nobody to make a shank. Now they're starting to lock up the action figures, and I get it. I understand why they're trying to prevent the theft and stuff, but you're going to lose money, because who is going to wait? There's only basically two people that are going to wait to get somebody over to open a case and get a figure out. That's one with a crying child or somebody that's just bugging you, or a hardcore collector like maybe one of us that sees that one figure that we really need to get, like a chase or something. Other than that, most people are just going to be, you know what? I don't need this. I can just get this online. So I don't, I understand the thinking in one way, one aspect of it, but I would rather lose a few dollars from somebody taking something to not be moving any of this product off my shelf. But I've talked about some of this before. I really think within 2 to 3 years, you're not going to see stuff like this on shelves anyway. I think it's all going to be pre-order online stuff. I mean, unless you're going to like a comic book collector shop or something like that, a brick and mortar store like a Dynasty Toys or, you know, Dallas Vintage Toys or something like that, who still keeps the updated stuff but gets older and newer stuff in there. I don't think we're going to get just the general walk into a store and pick that up. But I could be wrong, but that just seems to me that that's where it's leading to. I don't want it to be that way, but and the last thing I want to talk about, guys, is the price increases. I know a lot of people will sit here and say, "Oh, it's because of the tariffs." It's because I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I'm not saying the tariff doesn't have some effect on some things, but these toy companies have just been jacking up prices right and left every time we turn around. And it's partly our fault. I'm partly to blame because when I seen that Maximum Spider-Man at $49.99, I said, man, I cannot justify. I don't think that's worth it, but I don't want to miss out. So I went and bought that figure. and pretty much a lot of us did because most places that had it already sold out. So I don't know. It's getting too much, and which is, I don't know. I understand you got to be able to make profit, but every time you turn around, you hear about a company laying off people, but they're still jacking up prices. So if you just laid off 200 people, why did you just raise my figure up $5? Shouldn't you have dropped it $5? Because that's 200 less people that you got to pay, right? You see what I'm saying? I mean, I know that might be Steiner math to somebody, but that's what I get from it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see it, but I heard of it, Diego. I haven't. I had to go back and watch. I've been a little behind. We've been really busy with a lot of stuff going on. Uh, well, something else I wanted to talk about, but I can't remember. Oh, back to pre-orders. Now, Zombie Sailor, I love Zombie Sailor's work. Power Town, I like Power Town. But guys, it is getting hard for us to spend this money on your figures, and we're waiting a year and a half to 2 years before we get it. Now, you're not like Big Bad Toy Store or Hasbro Pulse. I know you have to charge a little more because you're a smaller company, but you don't even wait till it ships. You take our money out right in the beginning. So basically, you have my money for 2 years before I see anything back on it. Now, Power Town, I've been wanting you to succeed because I like you making some of the figures that other people couldn't at the time. But I don't know, man. After this wave, if you do have any more, I don't know if I'm going to be in. I don't know if I'm going to wait that long. And then we do put in our pre-orders, and then next thing you know, you turn around and it's like, well, I could have just waited because they still got some. So the only ones I've seen that really haven't had anything left that wasn't pre-order is Big Rubber Guys. Now, not saying they come the fastest either, because I'm still waiting on Iron and Tully and Rock and Roll and, those guys. And I've just ordered, or no, wait, I've already got Iron and Tully. I'm sorry. I misspoke. Sorry, Matt and Brian. But I think I have them. Or do I have them? No, I don't think I got them yet. Man, I got so much shit I don't remember. Uh, what about Cody? Oh, Cody. Now I actually think Cena's gonna win, but we'll see. Um, but yeah, I just don't know about this whole Power Town thing, guys. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm anxious to see what the new Zombie Sailor stuff has. Grapplers and gimmicks. They're coming out with like an elite line too. I saw the Gangrel. I think they've got the Godwins. I'm trying to find out where to order these. I went to the Grapplers and Gimmicks page, but it doesn't show anything. So I don't know if maybe they haven't went up for pre-order or if I missed it. But it doesn't even show where they've been posted up there and it's sold out or anything. I'm not sure. I don't know who Chad is, but I say John Cena's gonna win. He said John Cena sucks. Oh man. But all right, guys, man, I'm about to get out of here. I ain't got too much else. That's basically what I had for today, guys. We'll come back next week with another show. Like I always say, man, if you got topics, as long as it's something I know you want to mention it, I will talk about it and we'll keep this thing going, man. We're trying to get on our way to 1,000 followers, guys. But follow me on TikTok at Dros Beef. Follow me on Clapper at Dros Beef. Follow me here and Instagram at capital A Flair for Toys. And we're going to get on out of here. That is all we got for beef tips and topics. And we the ones. And I may be leaving, but I'm still that uncultured heathen.